Hello, everyone, welcome to China Watch. It is an undeniable fact that China's economy is in decline, with subdued consumer spending. According to the data from China's National Bureau of Statistics for October, the Consumer Price Index, CPI, for residents decreased by 0.1% month-on-month and 0.2% year-on-year. This marks the second consecutive month of negative growth after a 2-month hiatus, and the Producer Price Index, PPI, for industrial producers dropped by 2.6% year-on-year, marking the 13th consecutive month of decline, indicating economic deflation.
High debt, high unemployment, capital outflow, declining exports, and economic deflation have eroded consumer confidence. The 2023 China Consumer Insight White Paper released by iResearch indicates that over 92% of consumers feel their consumption habits have become more conservative, requiring more careful planning or reduced spending. Additionally, 45.6% of post-2000s generation consumers express willingness to try substitute products, buying counterfeit luxury brands. Moreover, online platforms like Downturn have seen the emergence of large consumer downgrade groups, with thousands of young people joining under names like Frugality Addicts and Insane Money Saving Squad.
The economic winter in China has spread even to the wealthy and the white-collar class. The domestic luxury goods market saw its first quarterly decline in 3 years in the third quarter. In this episode, we will discuss some phenomena related to the economic downturn and consumer downgrade in China. In February 2023, international consulting firm Bain released the 2022 China Luxury Goods Market Report, revealing a 10% year-on-year decline in the Chinese luxury goods market in 2022, ending a 5-year trend of rapid growth.
On October 10, LVMH, the world's largest luxury goods group, released its third-quarter financial report, showing sales of €19.96 billion in the 3 months ending September 30, with a year-on-year growth of only 9%, far below the 17% in the second quarter, nearly halving the growth rate. This unexpected slowdown also affected Kering, Chanel, and Burberry stock prices. LVMH's market value increased by 51% to $500 billion in the past 6 months, briefly entering the top 10 global market capitalization list. Similarly, Kering Group and Hermes also experienced slowing growth. Kering Group saw a 13% year-on-year decline in the third quarter of this year, with a 9% decline when calculated at a fixed exchange rate. Hermes experienced a 16.9% year-on-year decline in the third quarter of this year, with an 11.9% decline quarter-on-quarter.
The Chinese market is one of the major markets for global luxury conglomerates. In the past 20 years, the growth of the global luxury goods market has been mainly driven by emerging economies, with China as a representative.
However, after a brief surge in the second quarter of this year, the luxury goods market rapidly declined. According to the financial report, in the second quarter of 2023, LVMH Group's growth in markets outside Japan was 34%, leading the global market. However, the growth rate dropped sharply to 11% in the third quarter. Kering Group's retail performance in Japan grew by 28%, while the growth in the Asia-Pacific market, mainly China, outside Japan was only 1%.
Why are luxury goods cold in the domestic market? The fundamental reason is China's economic downturn, middle-class downsizing, consumer downgrade, and the wealthy fleeing.
Public data shows that in 2022, 800 million people in China were in debt, including 400 million mortgage slaves, with an average debt of 142,850 yuan per person, totaling more than 200 trillion yuan. In 2022, the average debt ratio of urban households in China was 56.5%, with housing loans accounting for nearly 77%.
However, after the epidemic was lifted, China's economy did not experience a retaliatory recovery but a cliff-like decline. Youth unemployment is so high that the CCP does not dare to disclose the data. Starbucks cafes are often filled with middle-aged professionals who cannot find jobs. Real estate stagnation, financial bursts, and extreme risks have caused the wealth of the middle class to shrink continuously.
According to the latest research by Bain, the top 2% of customers contributed about 40% of the global luxury goods market sales. Some luxury brands have even higher concentration among VIC, very important customer, clients in the Chinese market than the global average.
For the non-core customers outside the top 2%, wealth contraction is a high probability event. In an economic downturn, middle-class individuals who have downsized voluntarily will actively reduce consumption, exposing luxury giants to greater risks.
Luxury goods have an investment substitution effect globally, making price hikes an important means for LVMH to attract Chinese customers in the past. However, this tactic is not working this year. According to the 2023 Z Generation Luxury Consumption Attitudes and Trends Study, 36% of respondents believe that price hikes will seriously affect their willingness to purchase, and 26% find price hikes disgusting. An article on Sohu reported a woman named Su from Hangzhou saying, "I used to have the idea of buying in advance when luxury goods prices increased. Now, Chanel CF costs 80,000 yuan, and even a LV bag starts from 20,000 yuan. I can't afford it. Let it rise."
Another reason for the cold luxury market in China is that Chinese people are becoming poorer, reducing overseas travel. Data from the Civil Aviation Administration of China shows that in the first half of this year, the passenger transport volume on international routes only recovered to 23% of the 2019 level. Some data points out that before the pandemic, 2/3 of China's luxury consumption came from impulsive spending overseas.
Among the top 2% high-end customers in China, stability is probably not guaranteed. Under the CCP's banner of orthodox communism and common prosperity, the wealthy are fleeing en masse. Recently, the term immigration surged in searches with up to 500 million searches in a single day. According to relevant data, around 13,000 Chinese millionaires emigrated overseas in 2022. The 2023 Global Wealth Mobility Report released by Henley & Partners shows that the number of wealthy Chinese immigrants is expected to reach 13,500 in 2023. Recently, according to the survey results of the China Youth Daily Social Survey Center on Youth Consumption Views, over 80% of surveyed young people stated that their consumption habits have changed in the past 2 years, reducing impulsive consumption and planning consumption more moderately. 90% of respondents stated that young people are shrewder in consumption. In fact, it's not about being shrewd, it's about calculating carefully. To adapt to the demand for downgrading consumption, 2 yuan stores, 5 yuan stores, and cheap bakeries have emerged. E-commerce companies such as Pinduoduo, Taobao, and Meituanyu have become the new cheap favorites in the eyes of the people, while large supermarkets have declined. In the first half of this year, there were only 41 Carrefour supermarkets left in the country.
The economic downturn and consumption downgrade have spread to the favorite of white-collar class, coffee. According to the 21st Century Business Herald, since this year, chain coffee brands led by Kuti Coffee and Lubkin Coffee have launched a war on low-priced coffee of 9.9 yuan, resulting in losses for independent coffee shops focusing on mid to high-priced products and triggering a wave of store closures. On October 29, approximately 44,000 coffee shops in the country closed.
The price war also led to a 5.4% decline in the operating profit margin of Luckin Coffee in the third quarter compared to the second quarter. While Starbucks seems unaffected by the low-priced coffee war, its financial report shows that the average unit price globally increased by 4%, but the average unit price in Starbucks China decreased by 3%, and the sales of Starbucks China stores increased by 5%, lagging the global growth rate of 8%. Recently, even 9.9 yuan is not appealing. Mainland young people have come up with various ways to save money and enjoy American-style coffee at ridiculously low prices. Wool-sharing strategy, bring your own cup to drink manner for 5 yuan, Starbucks reduced by 4 yuan, Tim's reduced by 3 yuan, JPG reduced by 3 yuan, Haiti reduced by 2 yuan.
This year's consumption downgrade has come in many forms. In first-tier cities in Beijing and Shanghai, same room, same bed, different quilts have appeared, saving money on renting by staggering the sleeping hours sharing a bed. Young people are vying to buy blind boxes of leftovers and love discount apps, forcing Yonghui Supermarket to enter the discount store track. Yonghui will add 500 to 1,000 authentic discount stores across the country and simultaneously launch online mini-programs.
According to data from the 2023 Young People's Savings Survey report released by DT Research Institute in October 2023, among the 1,852 people who participated in the sample survey, more than 70% were born in the 1990s and 1995s, and nearly 90% came from first- and second-tier cities. The samples are the representative of big city youth. The survey results show that 12.2% of the respondents have no deposits yet, 9.3% have deposits of less than 10,000 yuan, 32.2% have deposits between 10,000 and 100,000 yuan. After adding up, a total of 53.7% of young people have deposits of less than 100,000 yuan.
Difficulty in finding a job, low income, and no savings have forced young people to enter an era of low desires and enter the four-nose mode of not finding a partner, not buying a house, not getting married, and not having children, and having no money to succeed. Okay, that's it for this episode. If you enjoy our program, feel free to subscribe.